The latest from Capitol Hill now, where Democrats are scrambling to finalize the president's social spending plan before he leaves for Europe tomorrow. Democrats are still figuring out how to pay for it all. The latest idea is in play is a billionaire's tax targeting or a tax proposal that would target the wealthiest Americans. Joining us with the latest on this, ABC News congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. She's been following it since the very beginning. Rachel, what's the latest state of play here? We heard the White House may get behind the billionaire's tax, but it's proving a bit divisive. Is it still possible to get this done by the end of the week?
Yeah, Kira, and that is just one of the issues. Kind of feels like deja vu, a little bit of a broken record here. As you know, we have been here before. The White House and Democrats have been scrambling for weeks now to try and reach a deal on this. Bottom line, they are still at odds over a few key issues. One is how to pay for this nearly $2 trillion package. The other is a few key issues about what is actually in it. So Democrats are still at odds over the expansion of Medicare and Medicaid, as well as paid family leave. Senator Joe Manchin today saying that instead of focusing on what we could be expanding, he believes that we need to stabilize first. Obviously, progressives feel a much different way, but they are trying and scrambling, racing to try and get a deal on this before the president leaves. Right now, it's just unclear if they're going to be able to pull that out.
And Rachel, this federal tax proposal on billionaires. Look, billionaires have a lot of money, but they don't make a lot of it in traditional income. So how are they planning on taxing billionaires, and could it pass legal muster?
Yeah, you know, and this would be a tax, a billionaire tax, as it's being called, that Democrats released this plan earlier today. It would basically tax the assets of billionaires, as well as people who make over $100 million in income. So, for instance, if a billionaire has $1 million stock, for example, and then that doubles, they would be then taxed on that $1 million gain, even if they're not cashing out on that. There's a lot of questions over the constitutionality of this. Some say that it's simply unconstitutional, that this would certainly pose some legal challenges for the White House and and Democrats here on Capitol Hill. The president has been very insistent that this package would be completely paid for. But if there are legal challenges against this, it would completely undermine that process entirely.
And as we just saw images, we're talking about billionaires like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, also Jeff Bezos. Elon Musk already lashing out about this. And then you've got Senator Sanders, though, that seems to be quite a fan, not surprisingly, tweeting today 3 words: tax the wealthy. But what about those moderate holdouts like Senator Manchin?
Yeah, Senator Manchin was asked whether or not he does support this billionaire's tax. Take a listen to what he said to us earlier today.
Well, people in the stratosphere, rather than trying to penalize them, we ought to be pleased that this country is able to produce the wealth. I don't like the connotation that we're targeting different people. There's people that basically, they've contributed to society, they create a lot of jobs and invest a lot of money and give a lot to philanthropic pursuits.
So you heard from Senator Manchin there, really not giving a firm answer, but expressing some concerns with the idea of targeting maybe the wealthiest Americans. That would really only affect just a couple of hundred people. Obviously, we're talking about the wealthiest Americans in our country. Democrats, progressives say that they need to pay a little bit more. Manchin does believe that they need to pay their fair share, but it's unclear at this moment. He just doesn't seem to be behind this idea of a billionaire's tax, guys.
So what else could he cut?
Yeah, that is a really good question at this point, Kira. I can tell you that Medicare expansion to include vision, dental, that could be possibly on the chopping block. We heard from Senator Sanders that's a red line for him, but Manchin is just simply not around the idea. Also, potentially on the chopping block here is paid family leave. We know that that has already been scaled back in this bill from 12 weeks down to 4 weeks. It's unclear if Manchin would want to support even more than 4 weeks at this point. We've heard from progressives like Pramila Jayapal. We were just talking to her. She says that 4 weeks is just simply not enough at this point. But again, these are really big issues. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said that they're 90% there, but this last 10% is really proving difficult for them to reach an agreement on before the president heads off on that Euro trip in just less than 24 hours.
Yeah, they keep saying that they're almost there, and it's kind of waiting for Godot, this bill. It's interesting, Senator Manchin says it's divisive, basically, to put a tax like the Democrats are proposing on billionaires, but apparently taking dental and vision away from from older people is not so divisive. But you mentioned the president's trip. The White House says they want to get a deal done before the president heads to Europe this week. That's their own deadline. Why are they setting that? What do they think it helps the president do overseas?
Yeah, well, you have this major climate summit that the president will be attending in just a matter of days. And so there's this question of if the president shows up empty-handed without any deal on his climate agenda, what kind of message does that send to world leaders who are also going to be attending that summit? Now, I just asked that question to Congresswoman Jayapal just moments ago. She told me that, listen, progressives are not the one holding up this deal. She says this is all about two moderate holdout senators here, Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Kyrsten Sinema. I have asked Sinema multiple times where she stands on this, even today, trying to get her stance when it comes to paid family leave, when it comes to Medicare and Medicaid expansion, even this idea of the billionaire's tax. She would not answer any of our questions. She does seem to be behind this idea of a minimum corporate tax up to 15% on some of the big corporations that make profits of at least $1 billion. But that would not cover the cost of this entire $2 trillion price tag. So the bottom line here is that the president's trying really hard. Sinema and Manchin were both at the White House late last night trying to reach this deal. They met with the White House again earlier this morning here on the Capitol. But the bottom line is nothing has been reached just yet.
All right, Rachel Scott for us on the Hill. Rachel, thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.